I'll just say the Spiral Offcast. I think that's just the easy. Just like,
You do some test runs of saying it. No, fuck that. That's staying in. In fact, that's exactly what I'm gonna put in just before.
That was way louder than I thought it was gonna be. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 3 of the Spiral Offcast. I'm Danny, and I am joined by Chris.
Hello.
And we're back at it again.
That's right. Welcome back. I know. Episode 1. It's pretty crazy. My Hero Academia.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then episode 2 with the Ghost of Tsushima.
That's right. If you guys haven't watched that, go watch it.
Yes.
Because
Go watch our podcast so far. Like,
it's so good.
we're really proud of these so far. So today we are gonna twist things a little bit. We're revisiting My Hero Academia, because here's the thing. I know what you're thinking. No, I know what you're thinking. At the end of episode 1, we said we were gonna watch Goblin Slayer. And yes, we're going to get to that, but here's the thing. We said that we were going to talk about episodes 1 through 7 of My Hero Academia, and we watched 1 through 4, and so 5, 6, and 7 have not been addressed yet.
Yes.
And so I think it's only fair to Chris and his opinions that we address episodes 5 through 7.
Yes, and we committed to you guys that we were going to talk about 1 through 7, so instead of kind of leaving it up to the randomness and the abyss of when are we going to talk about 5 through 7, we're just going to do it. And
exactly.
Then we're going to follow up with some Goblin Slayer.
Yeah, we're totally not avoiding it or anything.
Totally not dreading. But I don't really know anything about it other than there's goblins and they probably get slayed.
Or maybe the Goblin Slayer. I don't know. They subvert expectations. I don't know.
He's a goblin that slays.
What if
He's the Goblin Slayer.
He takes his armor off. He is a goblin.
Twist.
Whoa. Okay. So, anyways.
But anyway, yes. So, first episode. First off, thank you guys for watching that first.
Yes,
episode.
thank you.
Awesome. We're really enjoying these so far. They're a lot of fun.
No, these are a lot of fun. This is a dream come true for me and Chris. So, thank you for watching it and taking a look at it, because we're honestly having a lot of fun with this.
Oh yeah, we hope you're enjoying listening to it too. Like even if you don't, know any of a lot of the topics that we're gonna talk about, maybe this gives you some insight.
Exactly.
Or you feel like you're watching it through our voices.
Exactly.
And our experiences. So, without further ado, My Hero Academia, we're going in episodes 5 through 7.
Yes. Let's recap real quick, though. So last time we did episodes 1 through 4. We thought it was 3, but it was 4.
Yes, we made a mistake and said 3, even though we covered 4.
Yes.
So, sorry.
So we did those ones, basically setting up the show, setting up Midori as a character, setting up a few other characters like Kacchan, All Might,
him getting
the quirk, and then going through and passing the entrance exam. So at the end of the last episode that we talked about, he was accepted into the Hero Academia.
That's right.
Yes, UA.
We got a title.
So that's where we left off. I want to address this before we continue. So I want to address this.
Okay.
So
what do you want to address?
Well, okay, let me put this into context. So I got to watch the first episode again. I got to watch all the way through, and I realized that I made a very large error as we were talking about it.
What?
And I want to go ahead.
What did you do?
No, so I want to go ahead.
What did you do?
What did I do? What have I done?
What have you done?
So I want to address in episode 1. Chris, you asked me a question. You asked me if All Might was from America, to
God,
which to which I very confidently I said yes, he was from America.
You can tell by his moves.
And the thing was, I recalled him saying that something about him being in America or something like that. So I took that as, oh, so he's from America. Immediately, I went back and I researched, and as it turns out, I was very much wrong. Because here's the thing. I can't go into specifics because, truth be told, there is some very big circumstances here that are actually super spoilery for the show. But basically, without spoiling anything, All Might was from Japan, but had to go to America to train. And he apparently became very, very fond of America. And that's kind of where a lot of, like, the inspiration for his moves and what came from. I can't say why he went to America, because it's a huge fucking spoiler for the show. But
Oof.
yes, but this was all apparently built upon in the first Academia movie, Two Heroes, which I'm not gonna lie, I hadn't had a chance to watch. I just knew that it was set between seasons 2 and 3.
Don't worry, because we're gonna watch that and probably talk about that
Yeah,
too.
maybe I would be
see.
down. I'd be down, but
If I got that far into the show.
exactly. But that's the reason why I didn't recall the very specific details of everything, because it was in that movie. So I wanted to address it because I felt very bad having been so confident and then going back and looking at it and realizing I was a big dum-dum.
It's okay. I think the fan base will forgive you.
Yes, I am a mega fan, I promise. I'm not fake.
I love this.
I taught you wrong. I apologize. I ask forgiveness. So anyways, I wanted to get that off my chest.
Oh my god.
So now, without further ado...
Without further ado.
Yes, let's discuss episodes 5, 6, and 7.
Yes. Yes, okay. Official spoiler flag. We're going into the episodes.
Light spoilers.
So if you don't want to hear anything to do with any of the episodes, just in case we call back to it, episodes 1 through 7. If you don't want to hear anything about any of those episodes, go watch our Ghost of Tsushima video instead.
Or watch any of the other Core 4 videos.
Yeah, go listen to some Rocket League, learn some physics.
Yes.
Ape Out's pretty hot. That's a great game.
Ape Out is. If you want some... action like that.
Oh, jeez. So,
yes.
you have those. So if you don't want spoilers, you have alternative low-calorie options.
Exactly.
So, yes, you've sufficiently been warned, so we're moving in.
We're going to get into it now.
Here it is.
So,
all right, so, like you lightly recapped, episode 4 is basically him...
The whole entrance exam, passing it.
The written exam, and then the giant robots coming in.
Yes.
Collecting points.
He passed the test, got accepted.
He was a big boy. He broke most of his body.
Yes. But recovered.
Yeah. So...
Which... Recovery Girl was the name of the school nurse, by the way. I remembered that too. It was Recovery Girl.
Ah, Recovery Girl.
Yes.
The sweet old lady.
The little old lady.
Kisses your boo-boos away.
Exactly.
Regrows your bones. So, episode 5 is the official him going to class.
Yes, it's like the
For the
first
first
day of school.
I'm so nervous.
We get to meet basically the majority of the rest of the long running characters. The characters we're gonna be with for basically the rest of the show. So you have all of class of 1A.
Which is the class that Midoriya is in.
Yes, Midoriya. There's other classes too, but we will not see them yet. But class 1A is the one that Midoriya learns and sticks with.
He's a part of.
And
so we basically get the whole the cast of the show in this one, and we meet we meet the teacher. But we don't really know he's the teacher yet. But it's so weird. He looks like a homeless man. He rolls up in a sleeping bag right up to the front door of the classroom, and Midoriya, and Midoriya and the girl are there.
Oshiko?
Yeah, I don't think we introduced her name.
Oshiko, yeah, we did.
Did we?
Yes.
They?
Yeah, because she was in the entrance exam, everything like that.
Well, I know, but I'm saying, like, we didn't get, like, her actual name.
Oh, in the show, I think we get it by now, but we did say it we did say it.
And we've said it again.
Yes.
So, they're there, and he just, like, rolls up, and he's basically he just makes some comment that I honestly am forgetting off the top of my head.
He's a very deceptively, like, funny character. Like, he really comes off as just like this, like you said, he looks like a homeless man, but it's deceptive, and it's really funny because rewatching it, I forgot that that's how he came on the show. He's just kind of like, everybody shut the fuck up, like, get in your seats, welcome to class,
right? And yeah, so this is where it kind of hit like a super exciting stride. Was he talks to them about how, what was it, like in their other classes, like in their high school or something, I forget, wherever they went to class before, they were taught to
like junior high.
Yeah, they were taught to, like, kind of not use their quirks to, like, you know, succeed and pass exams and all these other things, and fitness tests. And then he basically says, we don't do that here.
We do not do that here.
He's like, you're going to be able to use your quirk to the extent that you are willing to use it to in any opportunity you get, in order to basically test the limits and everything of their actual quirks. So it's kind of like pushing them for themselves and to kind of see where they're at and just exactly what their quirks really are.
Right.
So it starts off with him introducing a very basic physical fitness test.
Yeah.
It was like some odd meter sprint.
Yeah.
Which was like the first one, and that's where they introduce pretty much the characters one by one.
Right.
So
yeah, because I don't know if we mentioned this, but like through the show, like whenever there's like a character that gets like introduced and their quirk gets shown off like for the first time, it cuts to like everything stops and like you have the DJ, like, announcer character, like, kind of, like, announces their character, what their quirk does and everything. And I think I actually think it's a really cool thing that it goes out, like, throughout the entire show. But in this episode, we get, like, the rundown of the majority of the characters in the class, if not all of them.
Oh, yeah, I gotta state, before we got character introductions, the teacher was basically like, okay, so you have all these tests, and Midoriya's just like, well, I don't even know what my quirk, or like how I'm gonna use this without crippling myself after using it one time. You know, how am I gonna do this? And then the teacher basically says, also, whoever comes in last place is gonna be kicked out.
Exactly.
So he's like, oh, great.
So this physical test is like, it's like a 7-stage or whatever, like 7 stages of this like physical test, and or is it 8? It's 8. But yeah, the one who gets in last place just fuck you, just did it for nothing.
Yeah, like, not good enough. Get out.
Get up on out of here.
And so yeah, it introduces that, and then it starts out with the sprint, basically the short distance sprint, and the first one up is Tenya.
Yeah.
And it was like immediate, like no competition. This dude was like,
he does. He's so good with that.
And yeah, they called it the engine quirk.
Yeah,
that's the official name
because he's got the engines on his legs.
Yep, he is, and I took note of that. He literally has like 6 exhaust pipes coming out of each calf.
Yeah,
and it's like, that's crazy. He's so fast. Like,
he's super fast.
So quick. And the teacher, like, kind of marks that as, like, oh, this guy's is natural. Like, he's so good. And then the next one they introduce cracked me up because they didn't even actually give the quirk name. It was the frog girl.
Oh, Sue.
Yes. Sue, she's like hopped across it and she's like looked at the camera and her tongue is out.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then it just cuts to the next.
So that it's funny
it was
because
really funny.
it's funny because her character, she really doesn't get a proper introduction till later in season 1. Like
I figured that.
yeah, like I remember the episode that we really get to see her in action, and I was like, oh yeah, that it's that girl. Like was she even in the beginning? And then watching this, I was like, oh yeah, they do kind of save her for later, don't they? Like so she's a frog. Like they don't really hide her quirk. Like it's not it's not like anything secret and everything. Like yeah, she's a frog.
Yeah, I was like, they're not writing it, so it's like it might just be just that straightforward. She just like hopped.
It really is. It's funny because her quirk is that straightforward. They save her character for later, but yeah, she's a frog. It's funny. It's a very. I just wonder. It's like, what is her story? Like, when did this quirk develop? Like,
right, just like out of nowhere, you like wake up one day and your tongue is like 3 feet long, and they're like, huh?
Yeah.
And then you just like you fall down the stairs, but then you like jump 20 feet across the house.
Exactly.
Like,
no, she'd probably fall down the
hell?
stairs, but then like jump on the wall and stick there or something.
She's their Spider-Man. But it's Frog Girl.
There's no web sling, it's her tongue.
It's just, yeah, let's see that happen. Then we get introduced officially to the girl that saved Deku.
Oh, yes.
Midoriya. Ochako Uraraka. Uraraka.
Yes.
And her quirk is the zero gravity quirk.
Yeah. Which is a really interesting quirk. Like I don't know if I built on that in the first podcast, but it's a neat quirk, like honestly.
I mean, this is where they basically break it down. It's the fact that specifically, and I find that very interesting. She can nullify the gravitational pull of any object she touches.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not exactly like she can just make things float. She's actually like fucking with the
gravitational pull.
Yeah, which is like, I'm sure once she can train that a little bit more, she can do some pretty crazy ass shit with it.
Yeah, for real. There's she's like walking down the street. There's like a bank robbery or something. All she has to do is like touch the car, and the car just starts floating in the air down the street.
She touches it, and then just like fucking Spartan kicks it across the street, and it just.
You legit?
But yeah, they noted that she gets nauseous when she uses it too much.
Yeah, which we saw in the 4th episode after she saved Midoriya. Yeah. She got sick after. Which
was cool. I liked that touch that they kind of subtly introduced it before actually talking about it.
Right.
So it like felt more like we're not just like finding out new things that just kind of suddenly happen. Conveniently are happening now that weren't before.
Right.
But it's like there are no coincidences. They knew what they were writing. But then I can't take this dude seriously. This next guy.
Which one?
Yuga.
Yuga.
Aoyama.
What is it?
Yuga.
The belly button guy.
Yes. He has a laser beam in his belly button.
Oh,
It's called the naval laser quirk.
Oh, he's funny. He's a funny one.
He's goofy and ridiculous, and his fucking smile that he constantly has is just like such. It's so he's crazy.
Well, it's funny. It's funny too because he's similar to Ochako, where if he does that too much, it starts creating pain, or he gets sick, or something like that. So he can't do his power too much either.
He can shoot a laser from his belly button, but he's limited by how long he can use it at once.
Yeah.
So he can use it like rapidly, but holding it steady it actually he can't really do.
Like a stormtrooper say, "Boom, boom, boom, boom."
Yeah,
But he's using his belly button.
he's got a fucking unibeam from fucking Iron Man, but it's on his stomach.
Exactly.
And then it moves to Bakugo. Now the thing is, they don't actually describe any of his quirk other than the name. Mm-hmm. Like they talk of nothing of it in that moment. It's just he's literally just called the explosion quirk, and that's it. And then it moves on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, y'all are talking about something.
I mean,
Like I feel like for where we currently are, it's like we've seen his quirk. We've seen that he uses his hands and he can cause explosions. And
yes.
shit. So as it sits in this episode,
I was gonna say, like, I'm trying to think, like, because there's not too much, like, that they save. Like, there's one little detail, but it's not anything crazy, but then it gets shown, like, a couple episodes later, but, yeah.
yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Don't you worry.
I'm pretty sure by that point, we're all just like, just get Bakugo off the screen, just get him out of here.
So that basically introduced the casts.
Yes.
Those are basically the main guys that are in his class with Midoriya, and we kind of get the gist of what they are and what their quirks are,
Right.
and how they are all realistically not as limited as Midoriya is.
Yes.
In quirk comparison, so literally you have them flying through all these tests like it's like nothing.
Yeah.
And Midoriya is like actually having to like try.
Because, yeah, that's the thing. So, with all the ones up to a certain point, but yeah, Midoriya just kind of sucks with them because he's the normal kid.
Yeah, and he could use his quirk to succeed at any of these tests, and he would probably be number one.
But the thing is if he uses it, he'll break himself.
Yep, and so he's like debating every test in this moment of like, is this when I should use it? And then he's at the bottom of every test so far. But then what is it? Midoriya was going to there's the pitching test.
The one where they throw the ball.
Throw the ball, basically the person who can throw it the furthest obviously wins. And so you see like kind of everyone going through it. Like Tenya did fine.
Yeah. I think it was Bakugo who did the best.
You would think so. Bakugo did decent.
Well,
The number one was Ochako. Because she took its gravity.
Because it went to infinity.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's why she just like casually throw it and it's like slowly going into space.
That was my favorite because the whole thing is that because the teacher he has this like phone that he kind of like shows the distance and then he shows and it just has infinity.
Yep, it's just like it's not stopping anytime soon.
Yeah.
And so that was actually really funny because she was just like, yeah, and then it just kind of goes.
Never comes back.
Meanwhile, Bakugo's like heat, fucking explosion, poof, and everything. But in this moment, this is the last test. This is the final test. If Midoriya fails this one, he basically gets kicked out. Mm-hmm. So he's like, I have no choice. I have to use my quirk this time. And so he winds up and he's gonna use One for All to just yeet this ball into the fucking next dimension. But he gets stopped. He gets stopped immediately. By the teacher. And basically what I'm trying to say. So like in the moment, he went and he's getting all for or One for All, and he goes to throw the ball and it just like goes beep, beep, like a couple feet in front of him.
Right.
Like he doesn't get like any distance on it and he's confused. Like Midoriya's like, what the fuck? But turns out he can't trigger One for All in this moment, which is very weird. It's very bizarre. But the teacher claims that he took away his quirk in that moment.
Right.
Like, which is a concept up to this point that is kind of really bizarre and out there and super concerning for like 80% of the world at this point. But yeah, so he takes away his quirk and he exclaims who he really is. He reveals his name.
Yes, he is Mr. Aizawa,
He's
also known as
Eraserhead.
which is such a cool name. Like,
It is. And then it like cuts to like a scene of him like on the corner of a fucking skyscraper and he's got like his costume on.
yeah.
And
so his whole thing is that as long as he's looking at a person and not blinking or anything, then he can stop their quirk.
Yeah.
But as soon as he blinks or something, then he has to stop. Which is funny because then he says, he's like, oh, yes, this gives me serious red eye. Like,
yeah.
I was like, yeah, this struggles.
Right, so he takes Midoriya's quirk away, and then he lectures him on it. He's basically saying, he's like, because he kind of knows, he doesn't know what his quirk really is, but he knows what his quirk did to him in the exam.
Yeah.
And he stops him and he lectures him, and he's basically saying, like, are you really going to use this now? And then what's going to happen? Like, are you going to just be useless and then everyone else is going to have to worry about rescuing you? It's like...
Which is smart. I mean, like, watching again, I was like, man, he's got a point. Like,
yeah, it's like...
You don't want, like, a hero out on the field and, like, having to save, like, 20 people, but then now he has to be saved after using his power once.
Yeah, like, there's, like, a whole lot of things going on, and then if he chooses it in this one moment, and it's like... then he also becomes a burden to everybody else. And so it's a good point, and it makes sense, and Midoriya is kind of sad about it.
Yeah.
Obviously.
But then he tells him, is like, now do it again.
Yeah.
And if you break yourself, you're out of here.
Right, he gives Midoriya back his quirk, obviously, so that he can get a chance to throw the ball again. And... he's like, okay, I can do it, and he's like, he's really thinking it over because he doesn't want to be useless,
right?
And he's trying to be smart about it, and what he ends up doing is fucking rad. It was like, I didn't, when you think about it, it's like, yeah, it kind of makes sense, but like, you don't really. Up to this point, you didn't really think about it. Right. I didn't think about it. Midoriya goes to throw the ball with One For All, but instead of using it in his entire arm, he waits till he's about to let go of the ball at the full extension of his throw, and he channels One For All just into his fingertip and uses that to push the ball. And it just fucking shoots into space.
Yeah.
And it's just like... and his fingertip is, like, really fucked up.
But the rest of his hand's fine.
Yeah. So, like, he learned in that moment that he, like, to channel One For All in a very specific way. Instead of just, like, you know, full arm, full body, you know, 100% yo.
Yeah.
Which is fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, holy shit, that's fucking amazing. And the teacher fucking saw him do that and was just like, this kid's alright.
Yeah.
And then, the whole time, I think All Might was watching.
I know he was around,
way.
but I'm not sure if he directly saw it or not. I don't remember.
He wasn't present in the actual test, that's what I mean, but like, because he makes a comment after that like he knows Midoriya did that.
Yeah.
And he was like, so proud of this boy.
Yeah. My boy.
Right, and then that basically is where episode 5 ended.
Yeah, I think it ended with
the success of him making the throw.
Yeah.
So, episode 5 was pretty fire. That was like where shit was going in this not where it was going. It's not what I mean. Like, this was like the hard jumping off point for My Hero Academia. Like, this is where like the hero stuff starts.
The class stuff starts.
Forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then episode 6 starts with Bakugo not being particularly happy about Midoriya being useful in any way.
Exactly. And you know what? It's funny because if I recall correctly, I believe that Midoriya's, the ball that he threw, I believe that it got to the same distance that Bakugo had gotten his. If I remember seeing it correctly, like, I think, like, because he shows the distance on the phones, but I think they got to about the same.
Because I think it was either the same or he did better.
Because Ochigo was infinity, but she was
Ochigo was number 1.
Yeah, Ochigo was number 1, but Bakugo had gotten like the actual, like, the farthest distance other than infinity. But then Midoriya did his, and I believe it was on par, if not better, than Bakugo's.
Yeah.
So yes, this made him the big mad.
He was so upset, and it's just like it keeps. And they up to this point they kind of do the flashbacks to it and go into like Bakugo's thoughts about he's just mad that Midoriya has a quirk at all, that Midoriya just is alive, that he's around,
no, and then
that he walks the same earth as him.
Well, they really get into it in the next episode, but in like this one, it's just like he's just mad, and he's just like, has he been holding out all these years? Like,
yeah,
has he had a quirk?
He's just like, did he lie to me? It's like, you good, dude?
Bro, you good?
Just like, did this kid that I hate lie to me? like, oof. And so he straight up goes to attack Midoriya.
Just in front of everybody.
In the middle of the class. He's just so fucking pissed that he goes to attack him. And luckily, the teacher just straight up stops him.
Well, because he has like this long ass like scarf that goes around, so he just like commands, like, he just like wraps around Bakugo, and then also stopping the quirk. Mm-hmm. It's just like he has such a good power. Like,
he does. It's
so
cool.
But so, like, yeah, he stops him like mid-air.
Yeah, so like Bakugo's all pissed, and he's just like he's got himself all flustered and angry, and yeah, the teacher's just like no, and like it acts like kind of like arm wraps.
Yeah.
And they just like tie him up, and Bakugo's just like really mad still, and then his quirk isn't working, and Bakugo's just like, whatever, I don't care, stupid anyway. Stupid anyway. Yeah, and that's when he makes the remark. He's like, "You guys gotta quit doing this. I'm getting dry eyed.
Yeah,
like my eyes are hurt.
Can y'all like cut that shit out?
Like, for real, I'm tired of this shit." And he explains, like, you know, his raps and everything, and
right, how
like they're fancy. They're made of carbon fiber, which is why they can't just be broken like cloth.
Yeah.
So he's like a real OG. Now we find out his name is Shota Aizawa.
Yeah.
And he's officially the homeroom teacher for Class 1A. So he's literally going to be like their go-to. They like officially established this guy as like their go-to, not just like the gym teacher.
Yeah, no. He is the teacher.
So they're just like, oh man. And then he shows off all the rankings of everybody in the class, because the tests are over and everything, all 8. And it shows like 1 through 20, so it's like a lot of people.
Yeah, no, there's a good amount of kids in this.
And you just see Midoriya's like in the last place. He's number 20, and he's just like, oh, I mean, I want to go to the school anyway. That's fine.
It's fine. I didn't plan on living anyway.
Right, and it's just like he did the pitch really good and all that, but wasn't good enough. And then, so he's like, oh, crap, I'm going to get kicked out, and everyone else is like, well, look where we did, and blah, blah. And some of the names on the list are characters that obviously we don't even know about.
Yeah.
So, literally, the next thing is the teacher's like, oh yeah, by the way, I was just joking about the whole getting kicked out thing. And it's just like, what?
Aizawa's
such a dick.
He is. He's just like, aha, gotcha.
Right, like Midoriya's having like a full-on panic attack. Like, he hasn't even been in this school for a day, and he's about to get kicked out because of a fucking physical test. Like a fucking a day at gym. Yeah, and then he fucking just is like, yeah, just kidding. I was just doing that to make sure you guys were performing your best. And it's like,
okay.
It's like, okay, I mean, I guess. Which I guess was good because it pushed Midoriya to, like, think differently about his quirk and, like,
right.
You know.
Not be careless with it.
Exactly. So in the end, it was a smart move.
Yes.
But then this guy seems like he's on the up and up. He knows what he's doing.
Right.
Then it's like a small scene, but then Midoriya goes to the nurse to get his finger healed up, which we actually find out basically how her healing actually works, and it's not just like magic. It just accelerates the individual's own like
healing process.
Yeah. So it like when Midoriya gets his finger healed, he like feels immediately exhausted because his body's basically just like fast forwarding the healing, and she basically says, you can't keep doing this because you will probably die. like this isn't magic. I'm not healing you, I'm helping you heal yourself.
Right.
So it's like, it's not like you can keep getting broken and it'll be okay. It's like, no, so fucking calm that shit down. Then basically after that we get the establishment of the best friend trio.
Oh yeah, with Midoriya.
Midoriya and
Tenya.
Midoriya and Tenya are just like walking and talking, and then Ochiko's like, "Hey guys," and then they're all talking to each other. But she specifically calls out to Midoriya. She calls him Deku, not Midoriya.
Yeah, because so throughout like what all while fucking Baku goes in their class, he keeps calling him Deku. Like it's like as an insult.
Yeah. So it so she's like, she shouts at him and calls him Deku, and he's like, that's not my name, and it's also not a good thing. And she's like, oh, well, that's what Bakugo was calling you. And he's just like, yeah, that's what he's called me for a while, and he like makes fun of me.
Yeah.
She's like, then she's like, it kind of sounds like the Japanese word for what was it? You can do it.
Oh, so I don't even remember what exactly it was.
It is that, I promise.
Okay. It was. I just remember it being like, she's like, oh, it's just kind of a cute name.
Right. She liked it.
Yeah.
She said like it sounded like the Japanese word for you can do it. So she liked it. And then he immediately blushes and he's like, my name's Dick.
No, literally, that's what I was gonna say. She's like, yeah, it's kind of a cute name. He's like, it is my name now.
He's like, I am Dick. It's me.
It was really funny.
It was hilarious. And he's just like, he embraces the insult, which is like poetic, and just like the big old fuck you to Baku.
Well, honestly, and that is, he adopts that name as like, you know, what he wants to be for his hero name, and it is kind of a middle finger to Bakugo, and it is funny. Meanwhile, though, I have to say, it's just like during that whole interaction, I imagine Tenya's just kind of there, like just kind of standing there watching this,
right?
Because Tenya's a very like study focused student, and it's funny because I forgot that in the very beginning, like with the exam and like because like during the exam or when they're discussing it, like Tenya, like Midoriya's like talking to himself, and Tenya's like, shut the fuck up. And then Midoriya was like, oh, he's gonna be like a bad guy, he's gonna be like my enemy or something, but no, he totally becomes like his friend. Like,
yeah. And like it's kind of this is a reference to the previous episodes of My Hero at this point. The way he saved Ochako in the initial entry exam, he actually makes Tenya makes a remark being like, "Oh shit!" Like he knew. He had like he had like a fucking 20/20 vision of like
how they were grading it and everything,
and how like that he could fight the robot. And there was like this whole thing. And he's just meanwhile Midoriya is just like winging it.
Exactly.
But he's like, no, this Midoriya guy, he knows something. He's smarter than he's letting on.
So Tenya like swears his allegiance.
Basically, he's like, oh, you're a smart kid. And then he makes the same kind of remark during when he throws the ball, and he's basically just like, he was saving it.
Yeah.
He was saving it up to this point.
Which is that one, yeah. Like, that one wasn't just, like, the exam test where he was winging it. Like, that one was, like, yeah.
So it's like, Tenya has acknowledged Midoriya as, like, you know, he's not just, like, some kind of goofy weirdo.
Yeah.
But he still prides himself on his knowledge and his studying and his expertise.
Exactly.
But then we get into the Super Episode 7.
Well, there's a little bit more of Episode 6, but it leads into Episode 7, so...
Yes.
Yes.
Basically, what happens is they meet up with All Might, actually.
All Might comes in. He's in his Silver Age costume, which I actually quite like. It has like the cape and it's like the red,
the
like
bright
outfit.
red.
Yeah, that I actually like that outfit of his.
Yeah,
but
everybody in the class said the same thing in that episode. They're like, "Wow, that's from that age," and it's like it's so much cooler.
Yeah.
So cool.
But so he comes in. He's like, "Aha! I am the teacher."
He's like,
"Come along, children."
And he's basically like, now I'm gonna teach you next.
And so basically, they're gonna do like a hero versus villain scenario. But they first get their outfits. They're like their hero outfits.
Yes. So okay, before we dive into
yes,
that,
yes.
So what they established is he's going to create a mock hero versus villain scenario. It's going to be, basically, a test environment. There's going to be they divided people into teams.
Yeah, you have two in each team.
So basically, one's going to be designated as the villains, and then one's going to be designated the heroes, and they're basically going to have an objective that they have to complete. Either team has their own objectives to create like a real world test scenario.
Basically,
sort of thing.
So they basically, the villains are like in a building or something, guarding like a bomb or something. Basically, the heroes have
specifically a nuke.
a nuke. Yes.
So it's the.
It's not a real one. It's a test, but the heroes basically have to infiltrate the building, and they can either. I forget, if I remember correctly, it's like they can either like trap the villains, like they're giving like this like unbreakable like tape or something. If they can trap the villains and they win, or if they touch the bomb they win.
Yeah. So yeah, that's exactly it. They have like this small tape which looks like medical tape. Like it's a ribbon. It's nothing crazy. So it's like really difficult. It's not as easy as just like lasso and you win.
Yeah.
So all you have to do.
Rootin' tootin' cowboys shooting.
Yeehaw, Deku. So literally they have to either wrap that ribbon around them. You don't actually have to tie them up.
Yeah.
All you have to do is get it around them and like have it connect. Like
right.
Basically
like trap them.
Basically make a bracelet on them. On any point of their body. If you can do that, that's considered capturing them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that option. But then all they have to do is actually physically touch the nuke, and they've secured the nuke. So those are the two objectives for the hero. The villains have to actually last, I think it was like 15 minutes.
Yeah, like however long the test is. They basically have to go like the duration of the test without getting captured or having the bomb touched.
Yeah. Or without having the bomb touched, I think they can defeat the heroes or like tie them up or something. There's some other condition that they could do, I think. I think, I'm not sure. I may be wrong.
Yeah.
But I know for sure at least those.
It was
those
that
were-
was at least that.
So I'm just gonna go with the facts I remember.
Right.
So there's that. Then he's like, but he, I mean, All Might, he exclaims, like you said, he's like, when you were accepted into UA, you had to register for your costume. And you could submit your design ideas and stuff like that, and they would basically fabricate it for
Which
you.
I think that is so cool. Like, could you imagine if there was like a company or something, you could, pay a certain amount of money, you can give them your drawing, and they could make your superhero costume for you.
Like exactly to like all
The
all
detail and like the
like the things it can do.
like that's I wish that were a thing. Out of all the things in academia, to like, if I could wish one thing for it to be real in like the real world, that would be it. Like something that could do that.
Because it's like, it's not just the outfit, it's like
The
you have, like,
abilities
you have like
and, like-
weird attachments to them and stuff that like function with things. It's like they go full on all out creating
do.
your fucking outfit.
It was
It's
so
fucking rad.
cool. It was,
And they come walking out with their outfits.
they all
on.
look, and they all
Like,
look so cool. Like
yeah, it's like the Avengers walking out.
it basically is like Tenya's got like that whole like suit of armor
It
and
is.
like
It's he looks like a knight.
he does.
It's so
And then
cool.
Ochako kind of looks like almost like a pink astronaut kind of thing.
Yeah.
Bakugo he does look badass. He's got
Bakugo
like
looks fucking. He's a dick, but damn,
He-
does he know what he wanted?
yeah,
for a
he's got
costume.
like grenades for hands. He's got
he's
like
got
the
these big ass grenade gauntlets. He's got this crazy ass like white and red mask thing.
his aesthetic is like black and orange, which it just
Explosion.
yeah, explosion. It's just it really works. Like it's a really good design.
It is. It's fucking cool.
They all have really cool. And then Midoriya.
So even the oh man, I forget his name. I'll remember his name, but it's the belly button.
The
laser
belly button
kid.
guy.
He
just looks classy. Like
his outfit's just like a normal outfit. He's got a giant ring on his stomach.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's funny.
His was fun.
Yuga.
Yuga.
But yeah, and then Midoriya, and it goes to a flashback, basically saying that Midoriya didn't actually submit a costume design.
Oh,
Like it flashes back like as they're like coming out.
Yeah. I thought he did.
Well, it flashes back to he didn't, and
Yeah.
then All Might tells him you can still submit it,
Yeah.
but he didn't really have any ideas, and turns out Midoriya's mom submitted it.
Oh, that's right. She
So
did.
she came
I
into
was
his
thinking,
room.
I was like, what?
She came into his room, and he was passed out on his desk.
Yeah.
But he had drawn his design for the costume.
which is also the drawing that's in like the credits, like during the outro, like once it starts playing, which I thought was pretty cool. It's kind of hinted
it was
that
kind of an interesting little lead up every
Yeah.
time, and so she's like, yeah, Midori, I saw that's what you were drawing. You were so tired, so I went and I made it for you.
yeah.
She made the costume. They didn't submit it to the place to have it fabricated or anything. His mom made the outfit for him, which was rad.
It's just sweet.
It is. And then he comes out and it looks pretty cool.
I'll say this: it looks goofy as fuck.
It is super goofy,
but at
it's,
the
like,
same
cool.
time, like this show embraces just the out of the norm, like
It's like a green rabbit.
kind
Assassin?
of. But then it's funny because it's like All Might realizes like the two ears like resemble his hairstyle, and then
Yeah.
he's got like the weird like visor thingy, but it kind of looks like a smile.
Yeah, so it's like the way it's funny, and it does like cuts in the episode showing like the way his ears are on the
Like, how they're
on, the
designed.
hat, the way that they're like angled and shaped. It looks exactly like the two hairs that are coming off of All Might's head.
Yeah.
And then he has like this sort of like face mask, like obviously over his whole face, but like the mouth part is like this sort of like metally looking thing.
Yeah.
And the way it's like shaped, it looks like when All Might's smiling, like that big superhero smile.
Which is probably what Midoriya wanted, because he's like, oh, like, he adopted the whole, like, the smile thing. He's like, he wants to save people with a smile, whatever. So, it was just funny seeing the two comparisons, because I wouldn't have thought that.
But it's funny because All Might's like, they're gonna know, it's so obvious.
Yeah. Literally,
All Might's like, way you're never
All Might's like, what are you doing?
Meanwhile, like, nobody will actually connect it.
I know.
But it's like, it's so funny.
So they do get into the teams, and the most notable one is that the two teams that like they're the ones that start off the whole activity. It's Midoriya and Ochako teamed up together versus Bakugo and Tenya, and and then Midoriya and Ochako have to be the hero team, and then Bakugo and Tenya have to be the villain team, which is just so like, of course, why wouldn't it?
Yeah, why wouldn't it be? And like, Midoriya was happy that he got teamed up with Ochako.
Yeah,
because he's like, you're nice.
Well, he's also like, hi.
Oh yeah, that's right. Before I go on, literally Midoriya, and they're all looking at their costumes, and she's like, "You're so cool," and he's like, "You're great," and she's like, "I'm kind of embarrassed. Like, mine ended up being like this really skin tight."
Oh
suit.
my god, yeah, and like
Midoriya's just like, "Yeah, it's nice."
Well, in the show, it totally like, it totally shows that off, and then Midoriya. It's just like literally any of the early interactions with Ochako, like I heavily relate to Midori. It's just they interact normally, like beyond this point, but it's like these early ones where he's just like, a girl, it's just like
right,
it's like
every
yes,
time,
mood.
Right, just like, I like Deku. My name is Deku. It's like, whatever you say, Queen.
Oh man, this costume's alright, but it's really skin tight and revealing. It looks nice.
I wouldn't say it's bad. It's
but anyways,
it's a good costume. So they get teamed up, and he's happy because he's getting teamed up with somebody who's not Bakugo.
Exactly, but then he's got to go up against Bakugo.
Right, and Midoriya's like, oh crap.
He's like, oh, of course.
Meanwhile, Bakugo's like, finally, I'm gonna beat his ass. It's just like he's like, I'm probably going to kill this kid in this game.
And they're just kind of like, okay.
Right, and then so I guess they actually given a layout of the building beforehand to study.
Yeah.
So
it's like a multi-level building. Like there's like
it's like
5 floors at least.
Yeah, there's several floors, and there's like the interior looks very plain.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not obvious kind of like where to go, and it's easy to get lost. So that's why that was like part of the test of them memorizing the layout.
Right.
Was like, because you're gonna go into a place that you don't actually know. Like, you know, when you're going to save people sometimes, you know, you might not know the layout, so you got to kind of mentally prepare for that too.
Right.
So they go in there, Bakugo and Tenya are up top, and then they find out that the nuke is fake. Obviously, it's fake, but
we're not just giving kids a real nuke to play with.
Right? And so he touches, it's paper mache. And it's like, well, yeah, obviously, but it's an interesting simplicity.
Right.
And then Tenya's like, okay, cool. So what are we supposed to do? And then Bakugo's just like, I'm gonna kill him. he's just like,
basically
he can't think of anything.
He's like, so how do you want to like defend? He's like, I'm going to kill him.
And then Bakugo just runs off. He doesn't plan with Tenya, doesn't talk about anything. He just leaves, and then Tenya's like, I guess I'll stay here.
I feel bad for Tenya. It was just like, oh no, my poor boy.
Right, and then he's just like, he's thinking like, I don't know if I forget if they had a conversation or he just talked to himself about like embracing the mindset of being a villain.
Oh, it was with himself, yeah, because he's like, well, like if I'm going to be a villain, he's like, I'm going to have to embrace being a villain.
That's right, because he's like, it's so beneath me. It feels wrong for me trying to pretend to be a villain because he's trying to be a hero.
Right,
So, like,
and he's such a like hardcore student.
He's trying to be a good guy.
He's doing his
trying to be good.
hardest.
But he's like, then he like convinces himself to embrace the villain, and he's just like, it's like a goofy like.
He becomes. It's funny, and like. It comes up a lot in like episode 7 a lot more, but yeah, he totally becomes this like Skeletor ass like, haha, you've fallen into my trap, kind of like villain like.
Yep. And I wouldn't have wanted it any other way really, because it is such a funny and believable thing for Tenya.
Because it's just so out of his element, so he's just kind of gotta like wing it, but it's so like. It's perfect. I wish there was a real villain in this show like that.
And then Bakugo straight up just dips, and he's like, I'm gonna hunt him down. And it's just like, I mean, that's not really part of the
That's
test,
not what the test is, but sure.
But like, Midoriya and Ochako are like being real cautious, and they're walking through, and they're like, they remember how to get up to where it is.
Yeah.
And then Baku just comes out of nowhere.
He like swings a corner, and it's like, what?
Yep,
it's like a jump scare.
Full speed, and he's basically just like he's found his prey.
Yeah.
And he's ready to fight, and then Midoriya is pretty good at dodging.
Yeah.
Like, it was amazing. He's dodged it, and Bakugo was caught off guard. He was like, "What? What is this?" And Midoriya's like, "So this is the power of Ultra Instinct." And so, like, he's just swinging, and Midoriya is just like trying not to fucking die.
Exactly.
But the interesting, he actually dodges like his right swing.
Yeah.
And then he basically tells him, he's like, you never change. You always, that's always your first move. And then he tried to do something else, and Midoriya just like fucking flips him.
Oh, like suplexed him or something? Yeah, no, I remember that, because the thing is that Midoriya, being like the hardcore like studier, like studying all these like heroes and everything, he has picked up on what his moves are. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he totally predicts it, and then just like RKO
slams him into the ground.
That legit, when that happened, I was like, oh shit!
It was so fucking cool.
Threw my hands in the air.
It was like, that was quirkless. Midoriya was just fucking good.
Yeah, seriously, that's not with anything.
And then he had the cool speech of where he's like, all the time you bullied me, and I've spent all of my life
like afraid of you,
watching heroes.
Yeah.
And I'm like watching you because I looked up to you. You were really cool, and shit like that. And he's just like, in that notebook that you burned back in literally episode 1. He's like, you did that? That's where I wrote all my notes. What do you think I spent doing all that time? I've spent learning other heroes. I've learned and watched all of your moves. I know everything that you're going to do. And Bakugo is just like, this is impossible.
Impossible.
Right? And then Midoriya is just like, basically just was like, fuck you. I know how to fight you now.
Well, no, and that's the thing is like, and this is how like episode 6 ends, is like he says like, I'm not afraid of you anymore, like I'm gonna embrace the name you gave me. My hero name will be Deku, and I'm not afraid. And it was a huge moment. Like, as a kid who's been bullied like through like school and whatnot, like this is the kind of shit that I always dreamed of, just that moment. So it was like seeing it was just like, wow.
It was fucking rad, because Midoriya like grew up in that moment. He's just like, I'm not gonna be afraid of you anymore. I'm gonna stand up to you.
Exactly.
And meanwhile, Ochako ran off, and she's gonna go try to fucking meet Midoriya up at the top.
Exactly. So that's where episode 7 gets into. So episode 7 is basically the rest of this whole like
Amazing scenario.
this Deku versus Kachan, which is the name of the episode. Which as soon as I saw it, I was like, all right, I'm already hyped.
Right, when you see it, it's like, oh shit.
Which-
We've been waiting for this since episode 1 when he was being such a dick.
Exactly. Well, that was the thing too, is that when I made the set for you, like the set of episodes for you to watch, I knew I was like, no, I gotta include this episode. Like, you're gonna be mad if you don't get to see this one.
Gotta include the good.
So it becomes, it basically becomes Midoriya versus Bakugo. Meanwhile, Ochiko's trying to get up to the bomb and trying to meet him up there.
Yeah.
And then Tenya's just being the Skeletor-ass villain.
Which was really fucking funny. So, before we talk about the whole continuation of Bakugo
Yes.
versus
Midoriya.
Midoriya.
Because there's a lot to unpack with that.
Yeah. Literally, Ochiko goes up there. And she's sneaking, so she's quiet.
Yeah.
And she's just like, okay, there's the bomb. I can do this. I can wait. Just Midoriya will come up here. And then Tenya's just like, I see you. Like, you're not hiding. And then she's like, oh. And he's like, I'm guarding the bomb. You'll never get to it.
Just this whole, like, villain monologue
But it's
thing.
like, okay. And then he's like, also, I know your ability. And so I've taken precautions. It's like, what? He's like, you've noticed I've cleaned up the room. And it's just like a shot where you see it's like all clean. And he's like, I've hidden everything that wasn't nailed down to the floor. So there's nothing you can touch to use against me.
Meanwhile, he's saying all this with, like, a very, like, villainous, like, tone of voice.
Like, he like deepened his voice a little bit, and he's more like trying to be like,
Yeah.
draw it out a little bit more like evil, heroic.
Yeah, if you I watched the dub primarily, and I watched it for this one, and like, I'm not saying it gave me like Invader Zim vibes, but I'm just saying like the way like he would like explain everything, like it was very much like that. Like that's why I say it's like Skeletor. Like it's just like, it's not like he was sounding like that. It was just like, I don't know, just his like the like how he would enunciate
It's
like certain
this
ways.
is what he thinks a villain would be.
Exactly, which is I wish.
So funny.
What if that's how they were like? What if that's how like terrorists talked in the real world? Like, like in our world, like wouldn't that? I think that'd be funny. Like if there was like, they said like
like the villains in our world.
in our world, like what if like SEAL Team 6 got over to like the Middle East and they're like, haha, you fallen for my trap, and they like it's just like, now you'll never escape the sand pits, ha.
Cartoon ass world.
But that would be funny. That's what I'm saying.
Oh my god. Like they don't ever actually kill anybody. They just do like these ridiculous ploys.
Well, no,
and traps.
they would kill him, but it would be like that very like,
You kill them, but it would be goofy.
it would just like, they have like the leader of whatever group, like insert group here, and they're just like all like like all like
God.
trickster, like villainous.
Oh my god. That would be some nutty ass shit.
It would. I would love it.
Oh my god. Let us know
So-
in the comments what you think about that concept for our world.
Exactly. So anyways, that's all going on.
So that's happening while Midoriya and Bakugo are dealing with their thing. So Ochiko is literally dealing with this goofy ass villainous Tenya, who is up here trying to, protect the bomb, and so they're doing this back and forth, and Midoriya and Bakugo are in like a serious lockdown. Of,
Which-
like.
While their battle is happening, we're getting flashbacks to them as kids, and we're
Yes.
learning how just they were kids, and like this kid and like Bakugo is just still like a little brat, and like Midori is the sweet little kid.
Oh, and that's the thing. So, I forget what order in the episode it happens, so I may be saying it out of order. But it all happens like in the same moment.
Yeah.
So, first thing, we get a flashback to Bakugo as a kid. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't have a quirk, and he's just
Yeah,
a
he's
kid.
a kid.
But then his quirk like shows up, and I think it's his parents that are there. There's other kids. It might
No, they
be-
were
it
in
might
like
be in
preschool.
class.
I was like in preschool
Yeah.
or something. Yeah. Because I know that part.
Yeah, and the teacher's just like, "Wow, you're so amazing. That's so cool. You have a quirk." And then he's just like, "I am amazing. I am the best."
He did. It literally. It was like the creating a psychopath right there.
Like it was. That's what locked his like ego and his like craziness in.
Just everyone
Was
being
that-
like, "Wow!"
They were being amazed by him, and then he's like, "Yeah, I am amazing. You should be amazed by me."
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this poor kid.
Yeah.
Like he got fucked up from the get go, but also like fuck this kid too.
Oh yeah.
So like it shows that flashback, but then it also shows flashbacks to, like him basically being Bakugo basically leading this like little kid troop.
Yeah. This little like group of kids,
Right.
and he is like the little posse leader.
Right. Reminds me of the kids from Wind Waker in the Windfall
Oh,
Village
yeah.
that like walk around.
Yeah.
And they're just like, "What are you doing here, kid?" But they're like 4.
Exactly.
But so the one event that happens in that particular flashback is Bakugo ends up actually falling off of a fucking bridge into the river, and like the two other kids that are like following closely to Bakugo are just like, "Oh my god, man, are you okay?" And he's like, "Don't worry, I'm good, haha." And then Midori is down there, he holds out his hand to him and he's like, "Are you okay?"
Because the whole thing is, yeah, so he falls in the river and the kids don't go after him. Are you good? And then Bakugo's like, haha. But Midoriya actually runs down there, and, like, as a kid, runs down there, goes into the water, and it holds out his hand. And he's like, "Are you okay?" And this is where he's like,
It's like he's like, "Kachan, are you okay? Like, you know, are you hurt?" Like,
And you
I know
watch his-
he's like, "I know you said you're fine, but like,"
and you watch
need
his like
help?"
Bakugo's like smile like disappears, and it's like the moment that his hatred began for
Like,
Midoriya,
he's
and it's
pissed. He's like, "This son of a bitch thinks that I need help or anything. How dare he be nice to me?"
I remember watching the first time and I was triggered. I was like, "Are you for real? This kid is mad because he just offered to help him up."
Yep, he's basically like, "I don't need your help. Don't look down on me."
But it's just, it was just, like literally like, because I mean, like literally, we go from that to like episode 1 where he just tells him to kill himself. Like it's just like, really?
Oh, that's a right. So it like really shows you his like the beginning arc of his character, basically being like praised as a child,
Yeah.
and then his ego was built on that, and then he just kind of had this fucking attitude towards like Midoriya because he just was trying to be
He's
nice
just
to
being
him.
nice.
And it's just like, man, you were really just you were just an asshole.
Just
nonstop.
just a terrible person.
Right? And it's like, so it shows all that, and then it cuts back to their fight, and you're like, okay, so they both kind of have, like, Bakugo, like, you see, not that it's justified, but you see his reasoning for wanting to beat the shit out of
Exactly. Then that's the thing is like we learned that in this episode, even though it's like, what the fuck's wrong with
It's
you?
like, it's the dumbest reason, but it's like, it's what's driving
It's
him.
what it's like his mind palace.
And then Midori is just, like, finally standing up for himself and
Yeah.
everything.
And like, and the fight is really interesting because like Midoriya is standing up for himself, but then he does start getting beat up by Bakugo.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
we have to remember like his quirk is damn powerful. Like, you know.
Oh yeah, and he's not using his quirk. He's not using his quirk against Bakugo.
Even though he totally deserves
Basically,
it.
oh yeah, like he's flipping he flipped Bakugo. He's dodging him and stuff like that, and then he starts running away.
Yeah.
And Bakugo's getting more pissed about that because he's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Use your quirk. Do you not think I can take it? Are
You don't think I'm worth it?
He's basically saying, like, do you think I'm weak? You think I can't handle it? Or, like, you know,
mean,
am I not worthy?
I
And
mean,
blah, blah,
yes.
blah. And, like, he's just getting mad and pissed, and he's just chasing him down, and Midori is just like, I can't keep this up. Like, he's like, I'm just gonna have to dodge him, get away and then run and meet Ochako so that we can get the bomb and win.
Yeah.
He's like, and he exclaims, he's like, he is afraid to use One for All on Bakugo because he's afraid he's probably gonna fucking kill him.
Exactly.
Because he knows how powerful his quirk is, and if he did just a direct hit on Bakugo, probably delete him.
Yeah.
Like he crushed that robot, which was made of metal. This is a boy made of flesh and hatred. And so also in this fight, we learn exactly what Bakugo's power actually is, which is he can secrete nitroglycerin.
Yes.
And he basically is igniting that. That is what is causing all the explosions in his hands and his whole thing. So he himself is not exploding, but he is
creating the little stuff to make explosions.
Yeah, so then it goes into what his fucking gauntlets are.
Yes, the grenades on his hands.
And he's basically just like, yeah, I had him made these, and he's like, basically, my arms will be constantly dripping the nitroglycerin, and these gauntlets are going to store all of that, and then I can basically light it all at once for a really powerful attack. And All Might, it cuts to All Might, and he's like, what?
It basically was that moment where All Might's like, huh, uh-oh.
Right? And Midoriya's like, what? And then Bakugo,
because it's just such a psychopath moment. It's literally like he intends to really hurt Midoriya with just this powerful ass like nitroglycerin explosion. It's just like what is wrong with you?
Yeah, like he's not trying to win the test or anything. He's just trying to fucking beat the shit out of Midoriya. That's his only goal here.
Exactly.
So like he puts his gauntlet out, and he, of course, he would have it where he pulls the pin out of it
grenade
to
pin.
activate it, and it's just like, what? And then it's just like this fucking beam that's like 10 feet wide, and it just fucking shoots out in this insane explosion that destroys the hallway, shoots out of the entire building, and just like fucks up everything.
Yeah.
And Midoriya dodges it. Well, obviously, luckily, or this would be a very short series.
Yeah. But his like suit gets all damaged and broken.
Oh, it was a huge explosion, but like Midoriya, oof.
Yeah.
And All Might's just like, shit. And then he's like,
well, because All Might has this whole thing where he's like, I should stop this, like I should, but I can't. I gotta see if he can like get up for himself.
Because he's like, as a teacher, I should stop this, but I also, he's like, I'm believing Midoriya can overcome this. Like he's trying not to like baby him.
Right.
He's trying to like treat him up, but he's also like, maybe I should not let him be killed in this thing.
Exactly.
So he's like really. You see All Might's like going back and forth in this thought process, and then Bakugo does that, and then he's like, if you use that again, I'm going to stop you, and then this is over, and you lose. And Bakugo's just like, whatever.
Because they have like the earpieces that they can communicate with each other, and then
and then All Might can hear everything.
Exactly.
None of the other students, they can see the video.
Yeah, they're watching it.
But they can't hear any of what's happening. They just can see it. So All Might makes that statement. And then Bakugo's just like, fine, I don't need it anyway.
You're fine, you're stupid.
Right? And it's just like, if you haven't seen that, at least go watch that scene. Because to get a real grasp of what that ability was insane. Like, it was so... it was nuts.
It was.
It was just, it was crazy, and you're just like, you know what? Maybe Midoriya should punch this guy with fucking
exactly
One for All. Just like, you know what? Nah, maybe he fucking deserves it.
He does.
And Midoriya's shocked that it happened, and he's like, what the fuck? And then, it kind of cuts back and forth still between Ochako and Tenya's whole thing, and Ochako like almost grabs the bomb, but then Tenya like picks it up and he's like, haha, you're not gonna get it from me, and he runs to the other side of the room.
Exactly.
And she's like floating and she's like, damn it. And it's just like, so like the whole time they're fighting, there's this like fucking cartoonish back and forth happening
Exactly.
up top, and it's just like, oh my god.
It's like the 5th floor, there's nice, happy, fun times. But on the 3rd floor, it's like WWE Rumble.
Oh, man. And then, then Midoriya decides to get more serious. And...
Not that he wasn't serious.
No, but he stops running away.
Yeah.
That's what he's basically decided. And he's basically thinking about all one for all. I keep going to say all for one.
No,
because
no.
that's like that's more of a common phrase,
Right.
than one for all. But so the one for all, he's debating it, and then he's like, I could probably win it with this because the timer's running out, and he's like, I'm wasting too much time with Bakugo's bullshit, and we're not gonna win because if they don't get the bomb, then they lose by default, and then it defeats its whole purpose. So he decides to use his one for all. So Bakugo is just still talking shit about like, why aren't you using your quirk?
Well, and then like
what are you doing?
And like the whole thing was like, and I mean like obviously Midoriya like goes back and forth with him, but Bakugo's just not having any of it. Just won't listen to anything. Won't listen to any logical reasoning.
Right, and it's just he's just like, I don't want to hurt you.
Exactly, but then, it does get to that point where it's like, well, we're running out of time here.
So fucking Midoriya fucking lights up his one for all.
And this is like towards the end of the episode too. This last sequence, but this sequence is super cool because, basically you see his arm lighting up. You see Bakugo about to just unleash more hellfire.
Yeah, so Bakugo goes to start charging at Midoriya.
Yeah.
And Midoriya is all like fucking one for all.
He's about to go, and then you see the it's cutting between the two, like the classic anime.
Yeah, like they're charging at each other.
Yeah.
And then you just see fucking Midoriya just swing his fucking arm, and I'm just like, well, I guess that goes Bakugo's character.
Yeah.
He's
annihilated.
He's like, I just like think in the moment, I'm like, if you got hit by that, you probably wouldn't even know for more than like a fraction of a second. Like,
yeah,
you'd probably just die. So it was badass. They're charging at each other, and Midoriya fucking swings and doesn't punch Bakugo.
No, and this is the twist with it.
And for like a subtle second, I was disappointed.
Yeah.
Just because I was like, he really deserves it. But Midoriya fucking swings and he punches upwards.
Yes.
And I'm like...
And he unleashes, I think it's Detroit Smash, I think this one.
Yeah, he shouts Detroit Smash. Like, he actually says it, and he fucking punches it, and it shoots straight up through the entire building.
Like, multiple
floors. It is a huge hole, and it is just, like, busting through everything, and Bakugo's eyes are just like, huh?
Because the whole thing, and this is where it gets crazy. So earlier during their fight, Midoriya was communicating with Ochako. We see it. We do see that part. This isn't just out of nowhere. But they did communicate to, like, for her to be at, like, a certain part of the building, and that he was gonna, like, do something. And so this is where that comes in. So basically, all of the floors above them are just, like, gone. Just a giant ass hole.
Just deleted.
The floor with Tenya and Ochako, like, they're just like, what the fuck? Tenya's like, what? And Ochako, like, starts floating, and, like, What does she do? She like
Okay,
she
so
gets,
what
she,
happens is because he punched through the ceiling,
Yeah, like all
the rubble
rubble.
existed. So then she can now use things. So she's like touching the rubble and she's throwing it at Tenya.
Yeah, so it's just this like this storm of just rubble, it's throwing at him.
And it's fucking rad because it's like she's not doing it to like actually hurt him, but she's doing it so he can stay the fuck away from her.
And
so
then she gets to the bomb and she touches it.
Yeah, she just like fucking spider grabs it.
She does.
Fucking 4 legs, just tries to wrap around it.
She does. And then
it cuts to fucking Bakugo looking at Midoriya. Midoriya's arm is just fucking...
Midoriya's arm is like in the air and he's just standing there just, like his arm is all like...
And then he collapses on the floor.
And then as he's like collapsing, All Might exclaims that the hero team has won. Yep. And Bakugo's just standing there like... Well, shit.
Right, and then
he in utter shock of what has just happened.
Bakugo's just like, he's kind of thinking like, maybe this is why he didn't use it on me.
Exactly. He's sitting there just like, wow, my rage power didn't work.
And then Midoriya actually says, he's like, that's why I didn't want to use it.
I can't control it. I didn't want to hurt you.
It's like it hurts my body to use it. That's why I wasn't using it yet. And Bakugo's just like, what? Like he just didn't fucking get it.
He didn't. Like well, because that's the whole thing. You can see it. It's like what just happened is just like registering with him, like as like in the final moments of the episode, he's just standing there, just like eyes wide. He's just like, what?
Right, and it's just like, dude, you were like seconds away.
Like you could have died.
Like maybe relax that fucking ego.
This kid gave this when you guys were kids. This guy gave you the hand to help you up. Now this guy could have given you the hand to
put you down.
Die.
The hand to die.
So that's the end of episode 7, and that is the end of the set of episodes that I gave you.
Yes, we've covered episodes 1 through 7,
and that is half of. That's like the big like half of the show. I think the season 1 is 13 episodes, so that's a little bit more than half of the show of the season 1.
Yeah, it covered. I mean, obviously you've heard us talk about it. It covers basically a very long range of the development of the main character in the show
in season 1.
Yeah,
not the whole show. Season 1. Yeah. But it does establish the main conflict of him needing to learn how to use the quirk, the whole thing with Bakugo, being in school. It establishes all these characters, like...
Yeah, and then after seeing Bakugo be the way he is, you get to episode 7, where you get the crisp deliciousness of the ass whooping that he so deserved.
Oh, yeah.
Even though, obviously, Midoriya didn't actually, like, beat his ass. But the moment where he like dodged Bakugo's first punch, just flawless, like he wasn't even worried about it.
Yeah.
And then he did the fucking flip on him and slammed him into the ground. That was the moment where I'm like, oh my god.
No, literally the same. Rewatching that part, I was like, oh shit.
Because that was the moment that really solidified Midoriya as smarter than he seems.
Exactly.
Like we knew he was like smart because he passed the entrance exam really easily. And he's obviously always taking notes about heroes and learning about stuff. Mm-hmm. So the intelligence is kind of like implied, but this is where we kind of see it like his fandom like applied in a realistic real world situation, and Bakugo wasn't happy about it. Bakugo was like, what is happening? What is
this witchcraft? But no, so having now gone through those first 7 episodes, final thoughts? Are they the same as what we kind of said at the first episode?
After obviously up to 3, I still think that is at least the minimum threshold for starting this show.
Maybe 4.
Like if you're not interested in seeing 4 by the time you've reached the end of 3, maybe try 4.
Yeah.
But like the end of 3 is I feel like got the interest of like, okay, you know, what's gonna happen next? You see Midoriya, like, he's jacked up, he cleaned up the beach and everything.
Yeah.
He's like this whole, you know, it's like, I don't know, it built my interest on what's gonna happen next. So I think at least 3 or 4 episodes. Any less, and I don't think you're really gonna get what this show is trying to do.
Exactly.
And if you make it to 4, then, you know, that's gonna tell you if you're really gonna stick with the show and if like you're really gonna enjoy it, because 4 and 5 are like they're like the flagship starting of the episode of the series of the anime.
No, and the thing is like it goes so much farther from there, and it's amazing to watch. And honestly, like I really hope that you keep watching it, because it's just so it goes crazy. Like that's just like the first like couple like big moments of the show, but like holy crap, like the game keeps rising from there, and it's so fun. Like it's such a fun show. Like I'm so glad that you got through those 7 episodes. I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it wasn't a battle. It wasn't even really a fight of getting through these episodes. It wasn't like, I don't want to use the term getting through the episodes.
Right.
Like I feel like some animes that like you either don't have an interest in, or you're basically told by somebody, hey, you should go watch this anime, and you're like, oh, okay, sure. That's kind of the moment of like, I'm going to get through these episodes so I can get it. Whereas episode 1 was the get through the episode.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 was kind of like that too.
Yeah.
But after that, it was more just like genuinely wanting to watch the next episode and see what's happening and where it's going. And we may have to do another video talking about the rest of the season.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is like, do you feel motivated that you would want to finish season 1?
I feel like I'm in too deep.
All right.
To back out now.
So then, we will most likely do a season 1 recap then, just basically covering the second half of the show, or not the show. I keep saying the show. The show is way longer than that. The season. The season. So what is that? So that would be like 6 or 7 more episodes for you to watch.
I think it's 12 or 13 episodes.
I think I think it's 13. So I would be totally down to revisit that at that point, get your thoughts, cuz big stuff does happen between now and the season finale.
I'm sure. I mean, this is literally just them practicing. This is just a little test.
Yeah.
Like this is like recreational activity.
Exactly.
So we don't even know what's going on realistically. As far as we've seen, it's just them being in class.
Yeah, no, for real.
Which I get is like literally the title of the show. It's the My Hero Academia. It's literally him going to school to be a hero. But is there a deeper plot? We'll find out.
We'll find out next time.
That's right, on the Spiral Offcast Plus Ultra.
Plus or Ultra.
Plus or Ultra.
Plus or Ultra. So you think we're good here? Call it an episode?
I think that this has been a solid experience.
Yeah.
And I think that we will have to pick it up down the road.
We absolutely will.
For more of this. And among the other topics that we will probably be covering on this podcast in the future.
Yes. We have a couple of things that we need to talk about on the very near horizon.
Yes. So at this point, if you haven't already, go watch Ghost of Tsushima. Go listen to that. It's not super spoilery. So don't be afraid. Like if you've only played a little bit, that we're gonna get into everything crazy and like ruin the story. And
it's just like a first impressions video.
Yeah, it's like it's good, and we mark it for spoilers when we talk about spoilers. So don't worry if you're not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go check that out. And then obviously we have committed ourselves to Goblin Slayer.
The Wheel of Fate decided Goblin Slayer, therefore we must act on Goblin Slayer, and that we will act upon very soon.
Yes, you will. Just keep an eye out.
Yes, keep an eye out.
You'll be notified, and you can be notified easier if you subscribe.
Yes,
and
hit the like, hit the subscribe.
Hit that little bell. That's
the bell,
next
the
to
dinner
it.
bell.
That's
the
right.
dinner bell.
Ding ding.
Ding ding, soup's on.
That's right. What's today's dinner? Goblin Slayer. Oh no!
No.
So keep an eye out for that. That's definitely gonna be coming up soon.
Yeah.
And then once we do that, I guess we're gonna have to spin the wheel again.
Yeah, of course we will. Of course we'll spin the wheel. What do we get? We might get One Piece, the regular dub, or the 4Kids dub.
I am not watching the 4Kids.
Yeah,
dub.
the Wheel of Fate has it. If the wheel decides it, then that is what we will do.
And then I will promptly depart from this earth after that video.
We could get Yu-Gi-Oh! We could get JoJo. We could get... I don't remember what else we put on there.
High School DX.
I said D. We could get the one we put we put like 20 of them on there. Why can we not remember?
There was a lot. You guys saw the wheel, you know.
You saw it. We won't be spinning it for this one, but we'll spin it after we finish Goblin Slayer. That'll be the one where we bring the wheel back.
That's
this one's just a revisit episode.
Exactly. This is more of the finishing of the first topic that we started with.
Exactly.
And then Goblin Slayer is what we rolled on, and then after Goblin Slayer, our fate will be decided.
Exactly. So
we will actually we have one to add on to the wheel from last time.
Oh, do we?
That Jackie suggested.
Oh,
yes,
that one.
So I'm sure a good handful of you that like anime at any point in your life, especially those individuals who have been around for a little bit longer, would be aware of the anime and the webcomic Nobilis.
Yes, we got a very large recommendation from our own Jackie to watch that. Now, are we gonna watch that, or are we gonna add it to the wheel?
That is something that we haven't officially decided yet. We don't know if we want to make it random or we want to make it just like a standard bonus episode, because specifically for context, Jackie loves Nobilis. Like, she's so passionate about it.
Very passionate. We're gonna have to bring her on.
Like, it was... Oh, yeah, she's gonna be... Yeah, spoilers. She's gonna be part of that video when we put that out for the cast.
Yeah.
You know, so... watch out for that.
Yeah.
Jackie's gonna be here. It's gonna be me, Danny, and Jackie. We are gonna have to do some research on Nobilis and see
what exactly it is.
Jackie's just like, you guys have to watch it. It's so good.
Exactly.
So that that's gonna happen eventually.
Yeah.
So
we'll do it down the road.
yeah. So if you like Nobilis, you can look forward to that. Among all the other things on that wheel. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yu-Gi-Oh! And then one of the sequel series to Yu-Gi-Oh!
That's right.
That we haven't completely decided, but one of them.
I remember, I can't quote it right now, but I remember reading the synopsis of the most recent current Yu-Gi-Oh! Series.
Isn't it like 7Ds or something like that?
No, 7Ds was a while ago, dude.
That was 5Ds, but I thought it was like 7.
7Ds.
7Ds nuts!
Yeah, I think that's the erotic spin-off. God, what is it called? It was Yu-Gi-Oh! Was it Arc V or was it Zexal?
Okay, I know. Okay, so this was like the one. It's not the brand new, like most recent one.
Arc
but-
V.
but-
It's Arc V.
Okay, but that is like the latest one to have come out and finished.
Yeah. Sorry, I just looked it up right now, and just to finish off this episode, I just want to give you guys a dramatic reading of the plot.
All right.
where the hell Yu-Gi-Oh has gone
We
since the dark times of the happy days.
all right, go ahead.
Yuya Sakaki's dream is to follow his father's footsteps and become the greatest dual-tainer in history. And he might just pull it off when he suddenly discovers pendulum summoning,
Oh God.
a never-before-seen technique that lets him summon many monsters at once. But when countless rivals emerge to steal his spotlight, Yuya needs to gear up his game because dueling has evolved into a non-stop world of action.
I like the name Yuya.
Yuya.
So is it like a JoJo thing where they just every like main character's like first name starts with like Yu?
Probably.
It was Yugi, now it's Yuya.
It's all coming full circle. So literally what it is, it's they're like entertainers but dueling. Like it's like a performance. So he's basically trying to become the best of that.
What?
And okay. I'm sorry. We're not going to get into it too hard. 'cause
Yeah, I know.
We're going to do a Yu-Gi-Oh one.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, pendulum summoning, he discovers it. Like, they just never found it.
Of course.
Like, when
ancient Egypt.
when Pegasus made the game, he just didn't tell anybody about pendulum
He
summoning.
was like, someone later down the road's gonna find out.
He's like, I'm going to just, like, hide this little secret right here. And then it's like, the summoning lets him summon multiple monsters at once? And I'm like, what?
What? But you could, like, summoning them in the same turn?
Probably.
No.
It's just like... Then Zexal was about the main character, Yuma,
Yeah, it is.
meeting the spirit from another world or another dimension.
What?
And it's like, okay.
It's just like okay.
It's just like, oh my god.
It's gone crazy.
And then, yeah, fucking 5Ds and this crazy ass bullshit.
That was the
with
Tron one.
the motorcycles,
Yeah. They gotta ride around on their little bikes.
right? And the people of the stars.
What?
Oh, yeah. That's the main plot.
Alright.
If you think it's all motorcycles and dueling, you're wrong, man.
That's what I
fucking
thought.
Space.
Damn it.
Just when you thought it was gonna be simple and straightforward. No, sir.
No. Nay, I say.
The people of the stars.
Alright,
So
I think...
leave a comment below if you want to see a Yu-Gi-Oh video.
leave a comment below if you want the Wheel of Fate to decide for us to watch Yu-Gi-Oh!
You're right. Cast your coin into the fountain of youth.
Exactly.
Let's see if we'll add every Yu-Gi-Oh series on there.
Oh god. The odds become ever so much more greater to watch some weird Yu-Gi-Oh!
Or
spin.
we just dedicate a Yu-Gi-Oh wheel.
Oh no.
They're just like, which one is it?
This is so weird.
Yeah.
Alright, so thank you guys for watching up to this point.
Yes.
Hit the like, hit the subscribe. We will see you next time.
Indeed.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.